How much would you pay for a treatment that would boost your brain power or help you have better cognitive skills or can even improve your memory and ability to focus better? You might think a treatment that does just one of these things would be expensive and in a facility, but millions of people participate in this activity that accomplishes all of this in the comfort of their own homes and don't even know they're doing it. The source of this treatment may come as a surprise. It is actually playing video games. Most people would be surprised to know that playing action video games, either on a computer or console, have been found by researchers to improve mental health and cognitive functions and can help to build brain plasticity in elderly. We all have somebody in our lives who likes to play video games, or we may know someone who's getting older and having a hard time with memory or cognitive skills. For me, I have 4 boys and a husband who love to play video games. I've always been concerned about that gaming may be harmful to their mental health, but I did research and I was surprised to find that there is actually a positive side to video gaming. Many times you might have heard that playing video games can turn your brain to mush, but in fact there are many games that can help to make your brain grow stronger. In a 2008 Discovery Magazine article entitled Mental Fitness, it says, electronic games that require complex strategies and creative problem solving may exercise more part of the brain, building planning, memory, and reasoning skills. Jane McGonigal is a game designer, author, and advocate of how games can be good for our brain. McGonigal spoke at the 2015 Nantucket Project regarding the subject. In her speech, she said that video games offer a real sense of optimism in our abilities and our opportunities to better and succeed, and more physical and mental energy to engage with difficult problems. And that is actually the physiological and psychological state of gameplay. McGonigal said that the brain scans of people that are playing games show the active part of the brain is the reward pathway system, which is connected with motivation and game orientation. Also, the hippocampus is activated, which is associated with learning and memory. In addition, McGonigal is not the only one to say that video games can have a positive effect. Daphne Balder, a professor in the Department of Psychology and Educational Science at the University of Geneva in Switzerland and in the Department of Brain and Cognitive Science at the University of Rochester, conducted an experiment with C. Sean Green, Associate Assistant Professor in the Department of Psychology at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. The research was to show that video games can heighten cognitive skills and functions. Cognitive skills are the basic skills that our brain uses to remember, to learn, to pay attention. The brain then uses these skills to store incoming information and knowledge and use it in a later date. Babler and Green's study showed players who immerse themselves in fast-paced events of digital fantasy worlds derive significant cognitive benefits. Games are not only a fun way to pass the time, they've been used in many training exercises by doctors, surgeons, and even in the U.S. military. A California surgeon, Dr. Calvin Lee, said that there are basic cognitive and visual motor skills learned from playing video games, which can be applied to surgical maneuvers and surgical situations. The list of cognitive skills Babler said grow stronger are improved ability to focus on visual details, heightened sensitivity to visual contrast, can mentally rotate objects more accurately, can multitask, requiring to switch back and forth between reading and holding a conversation, react to events that unfold quickly, and the ability to make correct decisions under pressure. Another way to change our perception on video games is to look at the positive benefits it's doing for the elderly. James Gee is a cognitive scientist at Arizona State University. He has studied the effects of video games to improve memory in elderly people. Gee said, any information associated with pleasure and excitement triggers dopamine release. Information can be stored more deeply and better remembered later. For years, scientists have thought that as we grew older, our mental plasticity became stagnant. But research shown in the Discover magazine article suggests that the mature brain is far from being a homeostatic organ. Throughout life, stimulating activities spark the growth of new nerve connections and may even prompt a key memory center of the brain producing neurons. Cognitive scientists say that nearly half the information we take in is through our eyes, and as we grow older, the ability to concentrate or pay attention on things on the periphery deteriorates. Many activities that keep these visual circuits in better working order can improve overall cognitive functions. One of the things that many elderly people are doing to improve these functions is playing specifically designed video games to help build memory and cognitive strength in their brain. As people play video games, their visual spatial acuity improves, especially their peripheral vision, and the reaction times are much faster, said Gary Small, director of the Center of Aging at UCLA. In final consideration, I hope that you rethink all the times you thought you were wasting precious brain cells while playing video games. In actuality, you are strengthening your cognitive skills, building memory, and brain plasticity. I hope I've changed your perception on playing video games and that you can now see that they are a useful tool in helping our brains to grow. Thank you.